So we are here today with Anna Campbell, our new summer intern, and we're continuing to do our social distancing and staying safe here.
Yep.
So I was just thinking, Anna, you have experienced and done quite a lot in your very limited time here. I don't even know how many weeks it's been. It hasn't been that many.
Yeah.
But thinking how much you've done, I can't wait to share, what you've experienced and everything. But first, let's just introduce yourself, and I just want to say I'm thrilled that Sarah from the Kelly School had connected us.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, and she said I have this little superstar who needs a summer internship, and I said send her over. And you don't know what you're going to get when somebody just recommends. Right. You're like, oh, okay, I hope this works out. I hope, does she have any graphic skills? Because if she just wants to do spreadsheets all the time, I don't have a lot of spreadsheet work.
No, not here for that.
So you are what I would coin a rare bird. You're not only a superstar, very intelligent business student, but you also bring to the table some design and, creative skills. Mm-hmm. And also, we have to give a shout out to your accomplishments in getting into Kelly and how you got in with a very high standing. And your nickname, I've coined you as, and other people have too, is Ace.
Thanks.
And so I called you Ace not only because we needed another name, we have another Anna here, Anna McCoy. But what does Ace mean when you are an ace at the Kelly School?
So, in the context of Kelly, it was for my freshman class, it was the top 1% coming in, so that was kind of what they coined us as. And then, but for me personally, it's also my monograms. Like on the tennis court, I sometimes go as Ace. So it went nicely, went hand in hand.
Yeah, and it's so cute, and you live up to it in every way. So it's been a blast having you here. Your personality is so fun. She's super spunky, and always brings life and all tons of fresh ideas, and that's your job as an intern and a Gen Zer. So tell us a little bit about more of your background. You're from Zionsville.
Yep.
And how you ended up at Kelly and what you did in high school and all that kind of stuff, and a little bit of your sporting world.
Oh, yeah.
Athletic world, I should say.
Yeah, so I graduated from Zionsville. When I was there, I was the editor-in-chief of our magazine, so that's kind of how I dabbled in the media world. And then I came to Kelly because I was I want to have that business background in what I'm doing, so I'm studying marketing, and then I'm also adding entrepreneurship after this experience, because I'm oh, small business, that's really cool. So I've continued to do a lot of marketing through this internship, and then also I'm president of the club tennis team here, so I've continued my tennis from high school through now competitively, and of course there's a lot of marketing and branding and also just leadership involved with that. But I've also been very involved with study abroad and all sorts of programs.
Yeah, because you were supposed to be abroad now.
Yeah.
The pandemic hadn't, hit the world.
Yeah, rip
so
that.
Where were you supposed to go?
So I was supposed to be in Peru for part of May, and then I was going to be in Sydney interning for the summer. And obviously that didn't happen, but I'm so lucky I landed here. I really, everything really worked out nicely considering the circumstances, so I feel very lucky.
I'm so glad to hear that, because it's hard to compete with Sydney and Peru and an exotic,
Right,
summer.
Exactly, but it happened to everyone. All my friends lost their internships and opportunities, so just
any job,
so to be able to rebound was awesome.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good for you, and using your resources and
right,
all
exactly.
That stuff. So I just am curious. What do you think it's like to work here at 80/20? We're very non-traditional, and pretty fast-paced. So give us your just off the cuff. What's it been like? How many weeks have you been here? 4?
No,
6?
it's been since mid-May.
Oh gosh. It just feels like you just arrived.
It's almost been 2. It has been 2 months.
Wow.
I know. I don't know where the time went. It's just kind of weird, yeah. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. It's nice because I live 4 blocks from here, so I just walk every single day.
I just have to say, it's really fun watching you walk here. She's just the typical Gen Z. I hate to say it, but there's no typical, but she is the stereotype. We're walking with her little ear pods on, just cruising with her backpack. And,
right.
Yeah, we definitely have to get a clip of her walking down the sidewalk.
Yeah. Iconic. But yeah, walk in every day, great schedule. It's very flexible. I've enjoyed that a lot. And I've always, like, I get bored pretty easily, and just the fact that every single day it's something different, like, definitely keeps me super engaged. So I've done everything from, like, I think the first day we started off with the PR, the press release for, was it SEOS? And then we've moved.
Oh, South Central. Oh my gosh,
Right.
that was a while ago.
That was the first day I did a press
it was
release.
For the UVC light.
Yeah, the
We can
UVC
just share
light.
that was a really cool technique that they're using for South Central Oral Surgery. They're one of our clients, and yeah, we were giving some,
Yeah.
getting it out into the media.
Yeah, and we did that, and then I edited your, some copy for your book, and then the Gen Z, of course, hopped right into that, and then the bank. Like, I mean, I have a lot of different, like, projects going on, lots of different, like, facets, whether it's brand strategy or even just design. Like, I've done the social media stuff too. So,
Yep,
like,
I throw ads at you.
right, yeah.
Posts
just
and
anything. Yeah. So it's been fun. I like the variety of the day-to-day.
Yeah, I think that's what I like too. I love the variety of, having an ad agency or a brand agency. We're trying to call ourselves a brand agency. I have to correct myself. So let's jump into the little project, the Gen Z Dictionary, because you dove into that hard, and you were very instrumental on, fine-tuning and pulling all the elements together, and really, we not only had to finish the book, we still have to get the very final Kindle version prepped. So we're planning to work on that on Friday. But where did you jump in, and what did you work on? Because I know there's several things.
Yeah, I think I started with just copy. I was looking through all the words, and I think we probably did that at least I did it 10 different times. I think there's 20 different iterations at this point. But so I went through copy, came up with definitions, words, asked all my friends different things. And then I did the marketing. I wrote out the marketing plan for it, and then the social media strategy, and we got all those social media sites, like, established, and then the website as well. So kind of I helped with a lot of different, like, aspects of it throughout the whole process.
And you wrote a press release for it?
Oh, right, and the press release too. I forgot about that. Yeah.
I'm trying to find the word that I was going to stump you with, but give me, like, ship it. If I say ship it, what does that mean?
It's like if you, like, see two people and you're like, oh, they're like a cute couple, I ship it.
Huh.
Like relationship. Like, yeah, that's where it comes from. Yeah.
Okay, and let's get this bread.
Get this bread. You, like, say that when, like, you kind of, like, it originated from, like, a meme, and it was like, if you do something that's, like, business oriented, like, you get, like, money or something, and you're like, oh, like, let's get this bread, like,
yes, it says a definition, exclamation, it's a term for making money.
Yeah, making money, basically. Yeah. Let's get this bread.
Okay, here's one. Do you dirty?
Do you dirty? So basically, it's just like when you, like, you cross someone over, basically, and it's like Rona really did us dirty, like, really crossed us over this year, like, oh, like, you ate my last piece of cake, oh, you did me dirty, like.
So it's not really a dirty term or a dirty word and connotation, it's just
not
something.
At all. It's like, oh man, like, you messed me, like,
you messed me
screwed
up.
me over,
yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah, so that's a little sampling of what's coming up on the Gen Z Dictionary.
Yeah.
Super stoked about that, and I always get a reaction when I try to use my Gen Z vocabulary with you guys, because it doesn't quite go over as authentically, but...
Oh, it's fantastic.
So, what are your career plans, Anna, as a third year? You've already been thinking of what you want to do when you grow up. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I've been loving the branding stuff, so I think I'd love to go into luxury brand management. I particularly like luxury goods, whether it's in the auto industry or even, like, fashion, but not so much on the retail side, but, trying to figure out the brand and, like, what's its image and, like, how do we present it to, like, the public and stuff. So that's kind of what I'm kind of leaning towards. Don't know where that'll take me, but I think that's kind of where I'm going.
Yeah,
Good. I love hearing that. It's music to my ears. Okay, so let's say you're going to work on a car. What's the ultimate car brand you want to work on?
Ooh. Oh gosh, I am a Benz bro. I love Mercedes Benz. They're so cool. Also Audi. I'm a German car girl, so like any of those German cars bringing them to the U.S. would be super awesome. But yeah, I think Benz bro. They have my heart.
Oh, that'd be fun. Okay, so fashion brand. What would you want to work on?
Probably I love Tiffany. I'm a
Oh, yeah,
Tiffany
that's a
girl.
good-
Yeah,
yeah.
so they're pretty awesome.
And they have an iconic brand, but
Oh, yeah,
and they're doing really creative stuff lately.
Well, and they just got acquired by the Louis Vuitton group. So
Oh,
like
really?
yeah, so now they're French, owned by a French company, which I could
Ooh la la.
I know, la la. use some French skills there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that would be super cool. Okay, so if you were going to do a food or a snack brand, what would you want to work
Ooh,
on?
food
I
or-
come from the world of packaged goods.
Ooh, consumer packaged goods. I don't know about like normal food, but I think it'd be really fun to have like work for like a beer distillery or something, because like I love the packaging that they have. They always have the coolest like marketing and branding, and I'm always like, who designed this?
So like local beer,
like a local
brewery?
brewery would be so much fun. Or like a coffee shop or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I love, like, there's this great place up in Milwaukee called Collectivo Coffee, and they just have the best branding, and like their design is awesome. And like,
I
so
love
something
that.
like that would be really cool.
Cool. Remember, we want to give them a shout out.
Yeah.
What's it called? Collectivo?
Collectivo.
Wow.
Yeah.
An interesting name. So let's talk a little bit about your expertise in strategic branding. We just did an interesting project, and you were right there at my side, prepping for our brand boot camp, which is
Yeah.
one of our kind of products and services that we offer. So we just did our first session with the bank, and what did you take away from that and that quick and dirty learning experience in prepping for that brand boot camp?
It was like definitely, I mean, we hopped straight into that with like just designing the slide deck and figuring out like what topics we need to like divide it down into. But I thought it was really cool like working directly with the client to hear, because we kind of had like the structure down, so we kind of knew what answers they were maybe going to give us, but then to hear their perspective was super interesting. And then taking that and then having to do the second session as well was like, I think it's cool. So hearing the client perspective was, I've never sat in on that before. So that was pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, and it was interesting because we were speaking with the branch managers who also represented the tellers, but I coined them as the boots on the ground or the front line, and you really, that's the most important thing, is to connect with the people who are talking to the customers, right? So it was good to hear their perspective and to know what really is the frustrations and pain points and what they're feeling. So anyways, it was good to have you see that experience.
Definitely.
So we added to the boot camp, with your help, some research and statistics, and we have, I'm not sure what the camera is, we used one of these, the books, The Human Brand, all the information from that, and also another book, The Marketing Rebellion. So what were some key learnings that you had, and if you just want to share what we shared with the in the boot camp?
Yeah, I guess the big takeaway from the book is like it's important to be warm and competent. So the more human you are, the more likely, or the more human a brand is, the more likely people are going to be attracted to it and want to interact with it. And so striking that balance between the two is difficult but crucial, because if you're warm and competent, then people are going to admire the brand. Where on the flip side, if you're cold and incompetent, like people are going to be like disgusted by the brand, like they're not going to want to interact with you. And like in the example of the bank, like banks typically are perceived as cold, so that's a big thing to try and get over. You know, how can we be more human and put like the face out there? And like it makes sense, because we had talked about it where we were like, it's so hard to break through all that ads and stuff you see on even social media, because like there's so much now. Like, how do you differentiate yourself if there's a story or a person?
Especially if there's regulation in banks, they can all sound the same because they can only say so much, and they could all say the same message.
Yeah, so the big takeaway from this book was just make sure you're putting like the human touch and the human face out, like literally the human face out there, not
Yeah.
like even
And
a
we know from
rendering.
posts that if we put a human or one of the employees or one of their customers, a happy
Right.
customer, it gets way more engagement than if we give a tip or some, graphics about, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought it was interesting too, because it's just like good to kind of apply it to other aspects of life too. Like if you want to be successful as a leader, there's a whole chapter in there about it. It's like you need to be transparent. So I was like, oh, well, that's, really good to keep that in mind. Like when you're doing any sort of leadership activities, the more transparent you are, the more trusting you are. If there's an issue, then people are more likely to like forgive you or be more, nice about the problem to begin with.
Yeah, and you're speaking like a classic Gen Zer, because that's what's been, noted about your generation, and that's what you are demanding. That you want authenticity, you want transparency, you want, support of causes and brands that have values and stick up for their values.
That added value is like so important for like I think our generation especially, because we're looking, is it like the triple bottom line or whatever, where you're looking for not just like profits and people, but you're also looking for how do you help the like community around you. Like that's really important for like I think our generation when we look at brands, because there's so many options. Like I love Starbucks because not only is it great coffee, but they also do all this philanthropy, and it's like I choose that over McDonald's even though it's 4 times as expensive, because they have that extra push in that brand strength,
Yeah. And I just think that you are all making companies step up to be better companies.
Right.
So would you just, I guess, basically answered my question. You would definitely pay more for a brand that
Right.
shows, that type of character.
Oh, I definitely would. I am big on like quality over quantity, and like supporting a brand that's doing good in the world. Like another example of a brand that I love is like Patagonia. Like it's obviously not like a cheap product, but it's really well made, and they really like they stand by their values and they're very transparent about it.
Yeah.
So like I think brands like that, like, and I don't think I'm alone in that. I think a lot of people around our age would like, if given the opportunity, would rather support like a cause or company than just whatever is the easiest or most available, I think.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. So there's some stereotypes, or people, bash their youth. And what are some of those things that irritate you because they tend to put you down, or people have myths about your generation?
The Gen Z myths? I think it's tough because like a lot of them were millennial focused. I feel bad. Millennials kind of got bashed by society.
Well, millennials are they're known as being lazy.
Right, like they have like the whole lazy thing, or like the excessively the hipster side where it's like, oh, like avocado toast or whatever. But Gen Z, I guess the only thing I've seen like on social media, and it's coming from fellow Gen Zers, is like, I guess is that like, we just don't care, like it's like thing where it's like, oh, if it's gonna happen, that's gonna happen. I think part of it's just because like we've grown up in like very tumultuous times.
Yes.
So it's kind of, I think, that attitude of like, I don't care, like whatever.
Yeah, take it as rules, and you're gonna adapt.
Right. Yeah. Because like I mean, do you have any like? Because I don't know any that are Gen Z specific. Oh, I guess I do know one is like the whole like boomer versus like the snowflake thing, where boomers were like, oh, you guys are like pansies or snowflakes or whatever, like you're too sensitive or something like that. I know that was like a thing, but I feel like that's kind of blown over.
Yeah. And so do you feel like your generation is feeling entitled, like the millennials who are coined as being entitled?
I don't think so. I think it's almost the opposite, honestly, because so much has changed so quickly, even in like art. Like I'm 20, so I'm like even on the older side of it, but like since then, like there's like 9/11, the Great Recession, and now this, like there's been a lot that's changed. So I feel like it's like, I don't feel like our generation is like completely entitled, more so like we feel like we have to fix like problems.
Right.
I think maybe more resilient is maybe what that would be.
Probably resilient is good.
Yeah.
So you grew up, one of the characters of Gen Z is you all grew up with technology. I mean,
Right.
do you remember life without cell phones?
I do. I think it's because I am on the older side of the Gen Zs, so I didn't get my cell phone until I was like 12, and then I think that was pretty common.
Wow, you were really old.
Yeah, I know. And like, but also my family was super big into like go outside, like, you know, skin your knees, stuff like that. So like that's just how I grew up. But I do know a lot of people who had even like the little like Firefly cell phones when they were like 8. You know?
Wow. Yeah. So do you use your cell phone all day long like we all think you do?
Yeah. I'm not as bad as I used. I went through a period where I was like pretty addicted to it, but now it's more like, I think it's just the constant messages because like, you know, it's connected to email, it's connected to text, and now especially in college, I get however many emails a day, and it's like, it pops up on your phone, and it's like delete, 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 and even that, like 5 seconds or whatever, if you look at like your time usage, it like kind of adds up, and like I constantly have my music on. I mean, you see me walking. So I guess like I do use my phone the majority of the day, even if it's not like active use, you know? So
let me ask you some questions. So tell me how many times you check these, I guess, apps or platforms. So let's say Instagram. How often do you check Instagram?
Oh gosh, I'm bad with it. I will say Instagram and Snapchat. Those I use a lot.
Like how many times an hour?
An hour? Oh gosh, if I'm not doing anything, I mean, I mean, it's so bad to say it's like 10.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's
it's so bad.
Like
sometimes I'll be sitting there and I'll go through it and then I'll close it and then like a minute will pass and I'll open it back up again to like look through it even though nothing's changed. Like it's so bad. It becomes almost like a habit to like scroll, you know?
Yeah. Okay, how about TikTok, the popular one right now?
I will say I'm not huge into TikTok, but I watch TikTok videos on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
So I see a lot of TikToks, but I'm not using the app.
Okay. Do you have the app?
I do have the app.
Okay. Gotta be careful with that.
I know. I've made one TikTok. That's it.
How about LinkedIn?
Oh yeah, that's a necessity for Kelly. I think everyone in Kelly has a LinkedIn.
So how often are you checking it though?
I don't know if I'm checking. I won't look at it for a couple days and then I'll do like a big check. I'm pretty bad. I know I need to be more active on mine, so I'm going to try and fix that this year.
Everybody wants to be more active on LinkedIn.
Even us
old schoolers.
I'm just like, oh gosh. But I see the notifications. I try to respond to like requests pretty quickly, just so they're not sitting in like my queue or whatever.
Yeah.
But actually scrolling through posts, I don't actually do that very frequently.
How about Facebook?
Facebook, oh gosh, my one roommate in particular, she always gets on me about like not checking my Facebook. I forget it exists, and then it's so bad. I'll open it up and I'll have like 100 notifications because I've been tagged. My dad like posted some photo of me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're like, I've been invited to like 4 events, and I'm like, oh whoops, I already went to those. Like, and then I'll get on like, I just updated my profile picture and everything, so like. I use it to be on there, but like I don't ever really post anything. I don't really interact on it.
Do you even post pictures on there?
No. I have been. My parents do say like, Anna, you need, or like family members, or like, Anna, you need to post like, you know, you went on a trip. Why didn't you post a photo so we could see it? And I'm like, I'll just send it to you. Like I don't know.
Yeah. So do you like sharing your life? Like, you know, some people like sharing their life a lot, and some people don't. So where do you stand on that?
I think I'm pretty in the middle. I'm not like overly like, I'm not like vlogging or doing like videos per se, but I will post on Instagram like fairly regularly, like maybe once a month on average. Yeah. And then on Snapchat, I'll post on my story and stuff. But I would say I'm pretty dead middle on that.
Yeah. So when you're on Instagram, since you're an Instagram junkie, you're obviously seeing ads.
Yes.
Have you ever bought anything off of Instagram?
I've actually recently purchased 2 things I saw off of Instagram. One was 2 swimsuits off of Black Bow. Shout out to them. They're awesome bathing suits. My friend actually tagged me in one of their posts, and then I was like, what is this? And I looked on their website, and they're phenomenal. So then I got 2. And
wow.
Another one was like, this one's kind of funny. It created this whole controversy at family dinner, and I wasn't even there to defend myself. It's called like like bamboo underwear. They're really cool. They're like underwear made with like bamboo cloth or like whatever.
But that sounds so environmentally friendly.
They're environmentally friendly.
There you go.
And they're really, really, really soft. And I was like so excited. I was like, I haven't bought myself anything in like 3 months. I was like, I'm gonna treat myself. So, you know, I got like the cute set, whatever, and then it pops up on my credit card and my dad's like, why are you buying bamboo underwear? I'm like, I don't know what to say to this other than like, I wanted them. But they were an Instagram ad.
There you go.
I don't know. And then there are some where I see a lot of like wonky ads where I'm like, okay, like this has nothing to do with me. Why am I seeing this? But like, I think the algorithm's pretty good, at least for my feed. It's probably
because you weren't even tagged on that. You saw that and it showed up.
Yeah, it showed up on my feed. The Black Bow Swim, I was tagged in something, but yeah, the bamboo was just like straight.
You need bamboo sheets now. They make those as well.
I know. I know. Like bamboo's great. That's another company.
Yeah. You're going to be a brand ambassador for that underwear company before we are done here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you can pay your dad back.
There we go. That's all I need. Yeah.
So what have you learned? What do you think is the key to great branding? Because that's the big, mystery is how to connect. Okay, we know authenticity and transparency. Is there anything else that makes a great brand and makes you like it?
Mm-hmm. I think the warmth and confidence, but really that ties back into being like human. Mm-hmm. So I think the more you can create a brand that's kind of like a friend you'd want to hang out with, like that's really important, because if you see like once you form an emotional connection with the brand, it's not even loyalty. Like in the book it talks about that, like there really isn't loyalty per se anymore because there are so many options.
Right.
It's more about like the emotional, like you feel bad if like you don't help them out, or like if something bad happens to them, you're like, oh well, it's okay because I really like you, so I'll still come back to you. So it's like building that emotional connection, I think, is really important, and typically that's through like stories and like direct interaction with customers. I think there was like there's something in there about like response time on Twitter. It like literally differentiates brands. Like if they're able to respond within like, I think it was like 2 hours of a tweet, that sets them like light years apart from brands who respond within like 48 hours or whatever.
Right. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to be on top of their game.
Right.
But that makes sense. I love that analogy. Like, be like a friend. So
right.
Describe a great friend.
So a great friend would be trustworthy.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Well, that is huge.
Yeah, trustworthy is big. Also, I think funny. You need to have like a sense of humor about the brand.
Yep.
Like Wendy's is a good example. Their Twitter's hilarious. And then I think you also need to be like competent to an extent. You need to know what you're doing. You need to like be like, oh, I know I can trust this person to follow through on what they're promising.
Yeah.
And then I also think they need to be just like friendly. So like, have like whatever your touch point is, have that be a positive interaction. And yeah, like I think those are good characteristics that a brand would have, and that was like the warmth would be the friendliness, I guess.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want the world to know about, like your, I'm going to give you one of my interview questions.
Questions.
Stumping you. So at Gen Z, their second favorite, I don't know did I discuss this with you? Do you know their first and second favorite types of advertising?
Oh, I overheard this. I should remember. I think it's like, isn't it like billboards?
Yeah, billboards were number 2.
Number 2, and number 1 is it social?
Nope, not the. You would think it was social, but it's cinema. I mean, it's movie ads, but they're not.
Movie.
Right, those movie ads. There goes the phone. So to wrap everything up, it just sounds like Gen Z, their whole feeling is to, make the world a better place, mm-hmm. make a difference, and to connect with people authentically.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes sense?
I think that's so true. Especially now, I feel like everyone's like starved for human connection. So like, I think coming out of like this like Rona season or whatever this is, like I'm hoping we're gonna see a lot more like intentional face-to-face interactions. That's what I'm hoping.
Yes, I think people are appreciating more when they do have those social connections, and
Exactly.
they don't take it for granted anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, thank you. I'm having a blast working with you. I'm so glad you ended up here.
Yeah, thanks for taking me in. I'm like a stray puppy.
In Bloomington and not in Australia.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll have you back on later in the summer, and we'll reconnect on what you've learned and what you've been up to.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Anna.
Yeah, thank you.